Commissioner.
Welcome back to Open Line. Tim Takis is with us. We are talking about elder care, elder law, planning to care for a loved one as they near a nursing home, and that inevitability. Perhaps you yourself as you do that. A lot of calls. So let's just go back to the phones. Let's go to Joe. Hello, Joe.
Hello.
Hello. Go right ahead.
I've got a situation where I was going up to my father's funeral, and my car blew up. And by the time I get a ride into his house, it was Friday evening. They had picked up the garbage Friday morning, and so I got no idea what they took out of the house and put in the garbage can, but there was 12 bags of stuff out in the front lawn waiting to be picked up.
Mm-hmm. Good grief.
And a cop came down the street and arrested me because I had not paid for getting the lawn cut and things like that. And so for upkeep on the property, I was put in jail over that, even though eventually when we went before the judge fined me $2,000 for that, so he had recourse other than putting me in jail. And
so you were fined because your father's property had fallen into some sort of poor repair? Is that what you're saying?
Just hadn't been kept up.
Hadn't been maintained. And so you were held responsible.
Yeah, my sister was half owner of the house. She was not charged anything.
Okay, and your dad was the other half owner?
My father had the life estate.
Okay, so you and your sister then owned the remainder, right?
Well, no, we didn't own any remainder. He actually had the remainder. We owned the house.
Okay.
He had life estate, which is a remainder.
Yeah, well, what I mean by that is that when your dad died, who did the house then go to?
It had already gone to me and my sister.
Okay, so you did own the house. He did own the house when he got arrested.
All right, now do you have is the question, what should you do, I guess? Sounds like, yeah, the question is, he's stuck with this sort of situation, which I would think would not be uncommon. Now, what's happened to him is certainly horrible. What do you recommend here?
Well, I mean, mostly it's like, it sounds like he says that, somebody came in there and started hauling stuff out and he got there too late or whatever it is, and it's like, well, I don't know why they got in there or what authority that somebody had to get that stuff out. So it sounds like either he and his sister have to have a conversation, or find out who it was that went in there and started hauling stuff out. Unfortunately, that's not too unusual where, somebody dies and the family shows up and says, well, do you want this? Well, do you want that? Mm-hmm. And if he's saying, well, I got there too late because my car broke down, he wasn't part of maybe the divvying up process. So now, the end result sometimes, if that's the problem or that's the issue, it's like, okay, so he goes to court and opens up a probate estate on behalf of his father, and now he's the one in charge, and he can walk around and he's the one that can say, okay, who got into that house?
But in the meantime, when the father passes and you own the house, then you are responsible for the house.
That's right.
As far as the maintenance and all of that.
That's right. Right, and that's what that's kind of what he's saying is that, okay, the police were probably going, okay, who owns this house? And he goes, me and my sister. And then they goes, okay, well, we're going to cite you for this, rundown house or whatever. I mean, who knows? But I mean, it sounds like a really odd story. But obviously, if he had a chance to go to court, tell his story, the judge says $2,000.
All right. Well, thank you for the call. Let's go to TC. Hello, TC.
Hello.
Go right ahead.
Yes, I'd like to get a definition on the types of the trust and the pros and the cons and the different ones, and I'll hang up and listen.
All right. What about that?
Well, that's the long and short version, I guess, is what he wants. So, the short version is like what we talked about before. Is that you own property or money or property, and you transfer title of that to a trustee who holds it for the benefit of somebody. Now that somebody could be you. And the person that is holding that asset could be you as well as trustee. Those are called revocable trusts typically. But there's also types of trusts which are irrevocable, which means, okay, I give my money to Ben and say, okay, Ben, hold this for the benefit of my sister. But if I come back to Ben and say, I want my money back, Ben says, no, you can't have it because this is an irrevocable trust. Once you put it in, it only goes one way, and it goes to your sister. Those are irrevocable trusts. And so people set those up sometimes for asset protection. But the downside to that is you lose control of that asset. Like the lady that came in this afternoon, she said, well, what should I do? And I say, well, you put your cash into a trust. Then if you wanted money, you have to go to your daughter and ask her for it.
Right. So that's...
Is that what you want?
No, I bet it's not.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Celia. Hello, Celia?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
I was asking a question about my sister. She is a widow. She owns her house, but it's not paid for. I should say she really doesn't own it, but she is falling into ill health, and she may have to go into a long-term stay at a nursing home. Mm-hmm. Now, she has income, and she also has insurance, but insurance I don't think pays for the long-term side of the nursing home.
Right.
So would she have to sell her home and contents and give that to the nursing home, or what would she have to do?
Well, and this is one of those, where her sister owns the house, I guess. Maybe it's paid for, maybe it's not.
She said it's not. I think it's a mortgage. Let's say there's a mortgage.
So she goes into the nursing home, and let's say that if she has her own money, she pays her own way. If she doesn't have her own money to pay the nursing home, then the nursing home is going to say, well, how are you expecting to pay for this? And then she says, well, I guess I need to sell my house, and maybe she does. Or if she has no money and she owns a house, she goes to the state Medicaid program, and the state Medicaid program says, well, you can have a house, and you can have $2,000 in the bank, and we'll pay your nursing home care, but all of your income, less $50, goes to the nursing home. So how are you going to make the mortgage payment?
Right.
How are you going to keep the property up? Because the state doesn't allow you to take money out of your income to pay the mortgage or the property taxes or the homeowner's insurance. That's the little
yeah.
gotcha
That's
there.
the reality. All right, we have to take a break.
That is the reality.
We have to take a break. We'll come back and basically wrap things up. Take a break. Be back right after this.